Welcome to Shop Strategy. This is your deep dive into unlocking, well, significant growth for your Shopify store. Today, we're really zeroing in on a challenge that, let's be honest, most Shopify merchants wrestle with. How do you actually turn those casual browsers into committed buyers? And maybe even more crucial, how do you nurture that relationship, build lasting customer loyalty? Especially now, the e-commerce landscape feels so competitive. We're pulling insights from some pretty comprehensive sources on e-commerce optimization for this. And this deep dive, it's packed with actionable insights, and it's powered by Growth Suite. Growth Suite helps you run smart discount campaigns on your store. You can actually test it for free on your Shopify store. So let's kind of set the scene here. A lot of small to medium Shopify merchants, they're facing what we're calling a conversion crisis. The numbers, they're pretty stark, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely. We're seeing average Shopify store conversion rates hovering around 1.3 to maybe 1.4%,
Yeah.
which is frankly way below the industry standard. That's usually, 2.5% to 4%?
And that's not just a small gap, is it? That's significant.
It really isn't small at all. That gap, it represents billions, with a B, in lost revenue across e-commerce. But, it's not just about getting that initial conversion rate up. There's this other massive issue, cart abandonment.
Yes. The dreaded abandoned cart.
Exactly. Get this. 70% of shopping carts are just left behind.
70%. Wow.
Yeah, and that translates to something like $260 billion in potentially recoverable sales every single year. It's like people walk into your store, fill up their basket.
And then just leave before paying.
Precisely. They just walk out before the checkout.
That's just a monumental opportunity sitting right there, isn't it? It means your store's working, it's getting interest, but there's this huge leak we need to plug.
And one of the main reasons, the triggers for abandonment. Our sources point to unexpected costs, right? That's nearly half the time.
Unexpected costs are huge. Then there's things like being forced to create an account.
Oh, I hate that.
Yeah, about 25% drop off there. And complicated checkouts, another 18%. And then you add this other layer, this compounding problem of rising customer acquisition costs, CAC.
Right.
Which have apparently shot up, 222% over the last 8 years?
Yep.
That's mind-boggling.
It really is. It makes for a pretty tough battlefield out there for merchants.
So true.
And that's exactly where a solution like Growth Suite, for instance, comes in. It's designed as a direct answer to these specific challenges. Its real power is in transforming those hesitant browsers, the ones adding to that abandonment statistic, into actual committed buyers. It hits those core pain points you mentioned.
Okay, so you're saying it can genuinely move the needle on those conversion rates. But how? How specifically does Growth Suite do that? What's the first step it takes?
Well, it all starts with comprehensive visitor behavior tracking.
Okay, tracking.
Yeah, the app meticulously monitors basically every single interaction a visitor has on your store. We're talking visit timestamps, which products they're looking at, specific actions on pages, what they add to the cart.
Even when they start checkout.
Even when they initiate checkout. And of course, completed purchases. This really deep dive into the customer journey lets you pinpoint exactly where people are dropping off.
That sounds incredibly insightful. Almost like having X-ray vision into what customers are thinking or, doing.
Sort of, yeah.
But then what happens with all that data? It's great to track, but how does it go beyond just tracking?
Right. That's where let's say, the magic truly happens.
Yeah.
Purchase intent prediction.
Yeah.
Based on all that behavioral data it collects, Growth Suite analyzes patterns to predict how likely a new visitor is to actually buy something during that session. It actively works out the difference between, say, dedicated buyers who are clearly ready to go and those hesitant browsers who might just need a little encouragement.
And this is where it gets really clever, right? With those targeted, time-limited offers. Because I know some merchants, they worry about discounting too much.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Conditioning customers to always expect a deal, maybe hurting the brand value. How does Growth Suite stop that from happening?
That's a really vital concern, and honestly, it's why Growth Suite's approach is so strategic. These offers aren't just sprayed everywhere, given to everyone. They're triggered only for those hesitant visitors who show specific signs of engagement or, product interest.
Like what? Spending time on a page.
Exactly. Like spending significant time on a product page or adding an item to their cart, but maybe not checking out. So that 5% off for the next 15 minutes offer, it only goes to someone who's already showing strong interest, but seems to need that final gentle nudge.
I see. So it's precise.
Very precise. It avoids conditioning all your users to expect discounts, which really helps preserve your brand's integrity. Plus, it automatically generates these unique single-use discount codes. They get applied and then, poof, they're deleted server-side once the offer expires. Creates genuine urgency.
That is brilliant. Surgical application of incentives.
Yeah.
And I like the sound of that high-fidelity countdown timer you mentioned, the one that's perfectly accurate. That must really create that urgency feel right there on the page.
Exactly. It integrates natively, really seamlessly, right into your product pages. It visibly shows the exclusive offer, the discounted price, then it kind of animates onto your cart page, highlighting the savings, showing the time ticking down. It makes the offer pretty hard to miss.
Okay, and then there's this other feature that I bet a lot of merchants would, well, salivate over. Post-purchase upsell funnels. Can you break down how that works? Maximizing revenue right after the sale?
Oh yeah, this is a real game changer. It's basically a one-time exclusive offer that's presented immediately after someone makes a successful purchase.
Immediately after, so before the thank you page.
Exactly. It pops up on an intermediate screen right before the standard thank you, and accepting it is totally frictionless.
How frictionless?
One click, that's it. No need to re-enter payment details, no shipping info again. It uses the info from the original order. What's really cool is you can set up advanced funnel logic. So the upsell offer can be based on what was in the original order-specific products, the total value, number of items.
Well, it's relevant.
Highly relevant. Growth Suite can even use its algorithm to suggest the product with the highest chance of acceptance, tailoring the upsell perfectly.
Okay, connecting this back to the bigger picture then. Well, all these capabilities, who's the ideal customer? Who really stands to gain the most from this kind of intelligence?
Well, Growth Suite is really ideally suited for those small to medium Shopify merchants. Typically, we're talking about businesses doing between, say, $500,000 and maybe $5 million annually.
Got it.
Usually, they have about 5 to 25 employees. These are often growth stage businesses, maybe year 3, year 4. They're already active advertisers, spending maybe $5,000 to $25,000 a month. And importantly, they're comfortable with tech, often using, 4 to 8 other Shopify apps already. They're poised to scale.
And are there specific industries? Like, where does this tend to have the biggest impact?
Absolutely. Growth Suite really shines in certain tier 1 sectors. Fashion and apparel is a big one. They see really high cart abandonment, like 77, 78%, but also lots of impulse buying potential.
Makes sense.
Beauty and personal care, too. Even higher abandonment, 80, 87%, but with frequent repeat purchases, so loyalty is key there. And electronics or consumer tech. Abandonment around 75, 80%, but recovering those carts is huge because the value is often much higher.
So it's really about hitting those industries where cart abandonment is a major pain point.
Yeah.
And the potential revenue recovery is substantial.
Exactly.
And what really makes Growth Suite stand out compared to other tools maybe trying to do similar things?
I'd say its competitive edge comes from 2 main things. First, that sophisticated AI-powered purchase intent prediction. Most competitors either don't have that or it's much more basic.
Okay.
And second, and this is crucial for busy merchants, is its technical simplicity. Installation is seriously quick, under 60 seconds, and you don't need to be a tech wizard. For these merchants, the ROI, the return on investment, is pretty clear. They're focused on improving conversion rates, and they can see potential uplifts of 30–50%. And recovering 25–35% of abandoned carts. That leads to significant revenue growth without needing to spend more on acquiring new traffic, which, given those rising CACs we talked about, is hugely valuable.
Okay, so we've just walked through how to strategically capture those first-time buyers, boost those immediate conversions using tools like Growth Suite. Smart stuff. But the real magic, right, the true long-term growth, it doesn't just stop after that first sale, does it?
Not at all. That's just the beginning.
It's about nurturing that relationship.
Okay.
So how do we turn that one-time purchase into a loyal, repeat customer? This brings us neatly into the critical role of loyalty programs.
Exactly. And the core economic reality here is pretty stark. Acquiring a new customer costs anywhere from 5 to even 25 times more than just keeping an existing one.
5 to 25 times, that's a lot.
It's huge. So loyalty programs, they aren't just some nice-to-have perk anymore. They're really a crucial growth engine for any serious e-commerce business. They fundamentally shift your focus towards sustainable long-term growth.
That makes perfect sense. And the research backs this up, right? There are some pretty compelling numbers out there about how powerful, effective loyalty programs can be.
Oh, definitely.
Like customers enrolled in these programs, they come back to buy 27% more often. Just think about the consistency that brings to your revenue.
Mm-hmm. Consistency is key.
And loyalty members apparently spend, on average, 40% more per order. That's a significant boost to your average order value, your AOV.
Absolutely. They're often trying to reach that next reward tier or threshold.
And these programs can actually extend the customer lifetime value, the CLV, taking it from maybe, 3 purchases over their lifetime to 7 or 8.
Yeah, easily. You're building a much longer, more valuable relationship.
And beyond just the direct money side of things.
Well, loyalty programs give you a clear competitive advantage. They help you differentiate your store in what feels like a very crowded market. They also build deeper, more emotional connections with your brand. You start fostering a community, turning customers into advocates. And crucially, they generate incredibly valuable data about your best customers, which can then inform all your broader marketing strategies.
That insight into customer behavior sounds invaluable. But it does raise a really important question. If we're putting all this effort into loyalty, why is measurement so critical? Why track everything?
Because without accurately measuring your loyalty program's performance, merchants are essentially, well, flying blind.
Fly blind. How so?
You can't justify the resources you're putting in, you can't optimize your reward structures effectively, and you certainly can't adapt if customer preferences change if you don't actually know what's working and what isn't. It boils down to data-driven decision-making.
Okay, so let's dive into that. What are the essential metrics? The things you absolutely need to track to evaluate if your loyalty program is actually succeeding. Let's start with the fundamentals, customer retention metrics. These are like your North Star, all right, for understanding if you're keeping people around. What's number one?
Number one has to be the customer retention rate. Simple concept, but vital. It tells you the percentage of customers you successfully keep over a specific time period.
Okay.
Imagine starting with 100 customers, you get 10 new ones, but maybe 5 of your originals leave. This metric helps you understand that stickiness, and it's super helpful to segment this. Look at loyalty members versus non-members, and even break it down by different loyalty tiers if you have them.
That makes sense. A crucial health check. What about the percentage of customers who've actually come back for that second purchase or third?
That would be your repeat customer rate. This is simply the percentage of your entire customer base that has made more than one purchase. A lot of people consider this the single most important KPI, key performance indicator for sustainable business growth.
Really? The most important?
Arguably, yes, because it's a clear sign you're building actual relationships, not just processing one-off transactions. And the good news is, Shopify admin actually tracks this for you.
Oh, handy. Okay. And then how often are those repeat customers coming back?
That's purchase frequency. Pretty straightforward. How often, on average, do your customers return to make a purchase? What you'll typically find with effective loyalty programs is maybe a 20-30% higher purchase frequency among the members compared to non-members.
Okay.
Which is a fantastic indicator that you're building a habit. They're not just buying randomly, they're becoming regular customers.
All right, so those cover retention. Beyond just keeping customers, we need to talk financial impact, the bottom line stuff. How do loyalty programs usually affect how much customers are spending each time they do buy?
Right, that's your average order value, or AOV. Loyalty programs very commonly drive a, say, 15-30% increase in AOV among members.
Saying to 30%. How does that happen?
Often it's because the program incentivizes them. They might add an extra item to their cart to reach a certain reward threshold, or maybe unlock benefits in a higher tier. It's a win-win, really. They get more value, you get a larger sale.
Makes sense. And then the big one, customer lifetime value, CLV. That total worth over the entire relationship, how does loyalty play into that?
Successful programs show a really meaningful lift in CLV. We're often talking 20-50% higher, sometimes even more, for those really engaged members. It fundamentally shifts the focus to cultivating these long-term relationships that compound in value, instead of just constantly chasing that next single transaction. Think how much more valuable a customer is if they buy from you for years, not just once.
Absolutely. And critically, how do we measure if the loyalty program itself is actually making financial sense?
That's where program ROI and profitability comes in. This metric looks at the overall financial performance. You have to consider both the costs, platform fees, the cost of fulfilling rewards, administration time.
Right, the investment side.
Exactly. And you weigh that against the attributable revenue, that's the incremental revenue you can tie back to the program. So money from increased purchase frequency, higher AOV, those extended customer relationships.
And what kind of ROI can you expect?
Well, what's really compelling is that mature, well-run loyalty programs can often achieve ROI figures of 200-400%.
Yes, 200 to 400%.
Yeah, making them highly profitable investments, not just costs.
Okay, that covers the financial side. Next up, let's look at engagement. Are people actually using the program? How effectively are we getting people to sign up in the first place?
That's your enrollment rate and growth. This tells you how good you are at converting visitors or existing customers into actual loyalty members. And a key insight here is to streamline that registration process. Keep it simple. Every extra field you ask someone to fill out, that can reduce your conversion rate by like 10–25%.
Well, okay. Keep it easy.
Definitely. Make sign-up frictionless. Place promotions strategically, maybe at checkout on the homepage. Offer a welcome bonus.
Good tips. And once they are enrolled, how do we know if they're actually active? Like,
Yeah.
what does active even mean for a loyalty program?
Good question. We define program participation metrics by how actively members are engaging. A common definition for active might be someone who has earned or redeemed points within, say, the last 90 days. Healthy active rates, usually somewhere in the 40–60% range. You should also track things like point earning velocity, how quickly are they racking up points, and, crucially, redemption rates.
Redemption rate. So how many points are actually being used?
Exactly. Healthy programs typically see maybe 60–80% of earned points eventually redeemed. If your redemption rate is really low, like under 20%, that's often a big warning sign.
A sign of what?
It could indicate your rewards aren't compelling enough, or maybe they're just too difficult for people to actually redeem. There's friction somewhere.
That's a great practical insight.
Yep.
Okay, and still on engagement, but leaning towards sentiment. How easy is it for customers to actually use the program day to day?
Right. That brings us to the customer effort score, or CES. This is usually measured pretty simply, just by asking something like, how easy was it for you to check your points, redeem a reward, and enroll in the program, often on a 1 to 7 scale.
And what's a good score or a bad
Yeah.
score?
If your average scores are consistently dipping below, say, 5.5, that's a pretty big red flag. It signals there are significant friction points in the user experience that need immediate attention. You really want to make participating in your loyalty program feel effortless.
Effortless loyalty. I like that. Okay, moving on to customer sentiment and advocacy. This really gets to whether they truly love your brand and are willing to shout about it. What's the first key metric here?
That would be your Net Promoter Score, or NPS, a classic. It measures the likelihood that someone will recommend your brand to a friend or colleague, usually asked on that 0 to 10 scale.
And how does loyalty tie in?
What's really compelling is that loyalty program members consistently show a significantly higher NPS. We're talking typically 10 to 30 points higher than non-members. They're genuinely your biggest cheerleaders.
That's a powerful indicator. And there's an even more comprehensive view beyond just recommending, isn't there? Something that looks at future intent.
Yes, exactly. That's the Customer Loyalty Index, or CLI. This gives you a broader perspective because it combines that recommendation likelihood with other factors, like how likely they are to buy additional products from you and how likely they are to continue purchasing in the future.
So it's more predictive.
Very much so. It has strong predictive value studies show a correlation of around 0.7 to 0.8 with actual future purchases. So a high CLI score is a very good indicator of future revenue from that customer.
Okay. And then the ultimate goal, maybe. Getting customers to actively advocate for your brand. How do we measure that?
That falls under brand advocacy and referral metrics. This is really the ultimate expression of loyalty when customers actively bring you new business. You absolutely should be tracking your referral conversion rates. For effective programs, these rates are often between 10–30%.
10 to 30%. That's way higher than most advertising channels, surely.
Oh, absolutely. And get this. Customers who are referred to you by existing customers, they tend to have a 16–25% higher customer lifetime value on average themselves.
Wow, so referrals bring in better customers.
They often do. Plus, don't forget how loyalty programs influence social proof and user-generated content. Your loyal members are often the ones leaving reviews, maybe 3 to 5 times more reviews than non-members. That builds trust for everyone else.
That's a great point. So many interconnected benefits.
It's truly remarkable, isn't it? And, these basic metrics we've just discussed, they're really just the starting point. The real power, the deeper insights, come when you start digging deeper with more advanced techniques.
Okay, like what? What are these advanced techniques?
Well, one really powerful approach is cohort analysis. This is where you group customers together based on a shared characteristic, maybe the month they enrolled in your loyalty program, for instance.
Grouping them. Why?
Because then you can track the behavior of that specific group, that cohort, over time. It allows you to precisely assess the impact of any program changes you make. Did that new incentive you launched last month actually change behavior for the people who joined after it launched? Cohort analysis tells you that.
Ah, I see. So it isolates the effect of changes.
Mhm.
That sounds incredibly useful for fine-tuning things. What else should merchants be looking at on this advanced level?
Another critical area is loyalty tier performance analysis. If you have different tiers in your program, like silver, gold, platinum, you need to understand how members are moving between those tiers. And more importantly, how does their behavior, their spending, their engagement levels, even their reward preferences, how does that vary by tier? This insight is absolute gold for optimizing the benefits and ensuring each tier provides meaningful, motivating value.
Makes sense. You need to make sure moving up a tier feels worth it.
Exactly. And then there's the really cutting edge stuff, predictive analytics. This is where you use all that historical data to forecast future behavior.
Predicting the future. Like what?
Well, for example, you can build churn prediction models. These can identify members who are at high risk of becoming inactive or leaving your program altogether, often with 70–80% accuracy. That lets you intervene proactively.
Wow, intervene before they leave.
Right. Or you could use reward optimization algorithms. These can personalize reward recommendations for individual members, leading to maybe 30–50% higher redemption rates because you're offering them exactly what they're most likely to want right when they might want it.
Okay, this is getting sophisticated. So let's bring it back to practical implementation. For you, the Shopify merchant listening, what does this all mean? Where do you even begin to set up this kind of measurement? It sounds potentially overwhelming.
It doesn't have to be. You can start by really maximizing what Shopify's native analytics already offer. Make sure you're properly tagging your loyalty program members. Use consistent discount codes that you can attribute back to specific loyalty rewards or campaigns. Then you can export that Shopify data for deeper analysis in spreadsheets, or even better, integrate directly with specialized third-party loyalty platforms that often have much more robust reporting built in.
Okay, so start with the basics in Shopify, then potentially layer on more specialized tools. And beyond just tracking the data, how do you ensure you're continuously improving the program itself?
That really comes down to embracing a culture of um, testing and optimization. You need to adopt A/B testing.
A/B testing for loyalty programs, like what?
Yeah, test different reward structures. Test different earning mechanisms, maybe points per dollar versus points per action. Test your communication strategies, different email subjects, different calls to action. The key is to establish a continuous improvement cycle. Set regular review periods, maybe quarterly, where you look at the data, see what the tests tell you, make adjustments, and then test again. You wouldn't launch a new website design without testing, right?
Good point.
Same principle applies to your loyalty program. It's not set it and forget it.
Right. And finally, perhaps the most crucial part, turning all this data, all these metrics and tests, into actual business impact.
Absolutely. Data is useless unless it leads to action. You have to ensure you're deriving actionable insights from everything you track. Translate that data into tangible strategic decisions. Use it to refine your program structure, use it to adjust how you allocate resources, maybe spend more on the rewards that are proving most popular, and importantly, communicate any significant changes transparently with your members so they understand the why. It's all about letting the data guide your path towards creating more engaged, more valuable, and ultimately more loyal customers.
So we've really covered a lot today. We've gone on quite the journey, haven't we?
Yeah.
From boosting those immediate, sometimes tricky conversions using smart tools like Growth Suite, all the way through to building that sustainable long-term loyalty through really digging into the data and using data-driven strategies. I think it's become crystal clear that truly understanding your customer behavior, both in the short term and the long term, and committing to continuous optimization, that's really the key to sustainable growth in e-commerce today.
Indeed it is. And perhaps the provocative thought I'd want to leave you with today is this. In this current era of constantly rising acquisition costs and just general information overload, what untapped potential is currently lying dormant within your existing customer base? And how could a smarter, more data-driven approach addressing both that immediate conversion challenge and long-term loyalty, how could that truly transform your business without you just constantly chasing brand new, expensive traffic?
That is a powerful question for any Shopify merchant to ponder. This has been Shop Strategy, your deep dive into boosting your e-commerce game. And remember, this deep dive was powered by Growth Suite. Growth Suite isn't just about offering discounts. It's fundamentally about deeply understanding customer behavior to intelligently increase those conversion rates. With its unique, time-limited offers that crucially maintain your brand's integrity, its powerful post-purchase upsell funnels to maximize immediate revenue, and its advanced behavioral targeting. Well, it's a smart way to really maximize the value of every single customer interaction. You can learn more and start your free trial over on the Shopify App Store today.